So at this point, Tears of the Kingdom is just over a week old, and there hasn't really been good guides yet that I've seen on how to take down a Gleeok without being really creative. So if you want to know how to take down a Gleeok traditionally, this is the video for you. Let's get right into it. Now, the sages are used primarily as a source of convenience and aren't essential throughout the course of your game, but a Gleeok fight is one of the few moments in the game that is designed around having the sages present. That being said, it begs the question, how do you do it by yourself? You're going to need two things, one of which being any sort of eyeball. That can be an Arakuda eyeball, an Octorok eyeball, or a Keese eyeball, which you'll get most commonly. Now, the second thing is a multi-shot bow of any sort, preferably the Lino bow because they're more durable and they provide higher damage outputs. Now, if you're not too confident in fighting Linos, just know that it's the exact same process as fighting a Lino from Breath of the Wild. So, if you could do it in Breath of the Wild, you can most definitely do it here in Tears of the Kingdom. And let me be the one to tell you, before you engage in the fight, you don't need to have the high ground necessarily. You don't need to have an elixir, a damage up, a defense up elixir. You don't have to have the elixir that cancels out the effect that the Gleeok will give you from entering its area of operation, because it's not going to last very long when you use this method. And finally, when you are using an element or the opposite element against a Gleeok, it makes close to no difference to the damage that you are dealing to it. So, for instance, if you're using a fire weapon against a frost Gleeok, it makes literally no difference, or the difference that it does make is very minuscule. So if you want to save the durability on your elemental weapons, feel free to do so. Alright, so you're going to start this fight off from a distance, and you're going to use your multi-shot bow to fuse with any sort of eyeball. And because it's a multi-shot bow, multiple eyeballs or arrows will hone in on the Gleeok's eyes. Now, I recommend shooting in between two of the Gleeok's heads, because that way the targets will hone in on multiple heads at a time. Now, if you shoot the Gleeok while it's shooting its beam of whatever at you, it will also cancel out that beam, and it will throw off its pacing, meaning that you're not going to have to worry about dodging all three beams of lightning, ice, or fire at a time. Now, as soon as it recovers, you're going to repeat this process, and you're going to repeat it all the way up until its last phase. Now, the final phase can be tricky because the Gleeok will begin to fly very high up in the air and send down its attack from a range, which makes it very difficult for you to hit it, even despite having the homing arrows in. Sometimes it'll reach and other times it won't. So when this happens, you might just have to buckle down, but what I recommend is finding cover immediately if you didn't kill the Gleeok already, and then start attaching wings, preferably Keese wings because those come in abundance, but just any sort of wings will work, and start shooting at the Gleeok in and of itself, which is why I also recommended a Lino bow, because they have higher damage outputs. Now, do this a couple of times, you'll be able to reach the Gleeok without trouble, and the Gleeok does take fall damage, which is why when it falls from this height, there's a high probability that it's already going to die and the fight will be over. So now I'm going to show you what this fight looks like without any commentary, just in action. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Drop a like rating if this helped, and have a good rest of your day. Took more damage from the heat. Get that out. Stop playing with me. Oh, hell no. Nice. need to do this immediately. Nice. It's dead. Almost. Let's break this. And we'll get another one. But the only damage that I took was the damage from the heat effect.